All right. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. I appreciate your time and participation. So today session is about aligning learning needs, learning to workplace needs. So the focus of today is basically making sure that um, everybody understands that training, whether or not training will actually fix the workplace problems. So a little bit of housekeeping. Um, Participants' mic will be remain muted. Webcams are optionals. Questions are welcome throughout, so you may raise your hand or use the chat box. As today's session is designed to be interactive, I'll be using Slidos for polls and quizzes. And we'll be also using the chat box as well to share ideas and questions. So I'll be checking it from time to time. So you may raise your questions at any time or just signal me with raising your hands. Yeah. So as usual, let's do a brief introduction. I'll begin with myself. Hi, I am Amalina, your trainee of the day. I will currently my post is as human resource officers, in particular to human resource development, or some of you may be familiar with as a training unit. So I've been in training unit for more than 5 years now across two ministries. So I hope that I can give some insights of my personal experience as well. So hand over to you, Hafiza and Nina. So if we can start with Fiza.
Hmm. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. My name is Siti Hafiza. I am a special duties officer, um, level 2 under the internal audit unit in the Ministry of Health. Previously, I've worked in HRD as well. So as far as experience in training goes, I've been both a participant and was also involved in organizing training programs. Manina?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Imanina Haji Muhammad Sapi'i. I'm currently working as a Special Duties Officer Grade 2 under the recruitment section of the Ministry of Health. I hold a degree in Business Administration and previously served under Human Resources Development, similar like Hafiza, where I gain experience in organizing and participating in various training programs.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So I believe that with your previous experience, it gives some insights of how to handle training as what we are doing at the moment. So moving on to Slidos, if you can log into Slido and join me at the given code, and I would like to hear from you. What is the usual situation or problems that makes people say we need training for this? So I believe there are some moments where you hear people say you need training for this. We need training for this. Yeah. So you may pop in as many words or short sentences. So one say when there is lack of skills and capability, when staff performance is low, not meeting expectation, correct? Complaints from public. Yep. Complaints from publics are usually the most triggering part. I think we've experienced this in Ministry of Health where we heard so many complaints about the emergency that leads to us developing customer service program. Yeah, that could happen. Correct. When there is changes in policy in the SOP. Yes. Do you have any more to type in? One more, I think. Yeah. When you notice there is a repeated mistakes. Yeah. Yep. Thank you so much for your sharing. Most of the ideas that give, yeah, most likely it is the most reasons I think in human resource development, us in training unit receive such complaints or such justifications when they apply for training. So yes, it's true. All right. Next, before I share what is your learning outcome, I would like to know from you, what do you hope to gain from these sessions? So type away, short sentences or words perhaps. To add some values, I think, to learn, for training purpose. Yeah. So, although those are the just words, but actually, it aligns with what we will go through. So it's about organizing training. It's about adding values. Yep. To identify red flags indicates that training is needed. Yeah, correct. Thank you for sharing. So I will now share with you what is the learning outcomes of today. Yeah? So by the end of the session, you will be, well, I hope that you're able to see that effective workplace solution requires the right intervention. And then you will be able to know or to learn how to differentiate between performance issue and training issue. And last but not least, to gain awareness of what TNA is and why is it important. To do all this, we need to understand first the role of learning and development. So learning and development is about capability improvement. So it's about building skills, knowledge, and behavior that allow people to perform their work effectively. So it exists to make sure that competency gaps are closed, to build readiness for the work requirement, as well as to enhance professional behavior. So you can see at the diagrams, at the end of the day, we want to make sure or strengthen to ensure organizational capabilities. So be it to strengthen service qualities, for instance, like some of you have mentioned previously, is to reduce that repetitive mistakes or to improve the overall organizational performance. However, different organizations have different learning priorities. It will depend on the performance expectation environments. But most important thing, yes, training will definitely can support the workplace improvement. It's a matter of, is that the only solution or maybe just a complementary solution? So moving on, these slides will be talking about how L&D supports business goals. So L&D isn't just about sending people for training to collect certificates. No, it's about building the capabilities that an organization needs to achieve its goals. So a strong L&D will ensure that learning activities are purposeful, targeted, consistent, and measurable. In the strategy L&D, we begin with organizational priorities. What is the organization trying to achieve, and what kind of capabilities are required? We also looked into the business plans as well. We analyzed the risk area, and with all the strategies plus the performance data or workforce data, we can prioritize learning initiatives to deliver the greatest, not the greatest, the effective learning impact. So in learning, this will make sure that the learning investment are focused, intentional, not reactive, and it is linked to organizational outcome. So in the chat box, just a quick reflection for everyone. If you can type your answer in the chat box, if you have ever attended a training that felt irrelevant to your job, why do you think it's irrelevant? Great. Yeah, that's good to hear that everybody has been assigned to a relevant training. It meets the capability needs. Correct. Thank you so much for that. So we move on back to the slides. If training has no clear purpose, what do you think usually would happen? Correct. Time and budget wasted, waste of time. How about to the individual? Would they be happy? Yep. They won't give any value to them. They won't be improving. Yep. They may be frustrated as well, right? So yeah. So because the problem aren't about that, we usually at the end of the day, we waste money, even we waste the energy of the officer or staff that's nominated. Correct? Yes, thank you so much for that. Therefore, we have to start with one fundamental awareness that is not all performance issues are training issues. Performance issues can rise due to gap, or it can be due to unclear expectation, complex SOP, excessive workload, lack of supervision, poor communication. So in that situation, training will definitely not solve the problem. So what determines whether training is the right solution? So it depends whether or not the performance issues is capability issues or system issues or structural issues. Okay, so just to make things interesting, let's do a little bit of quiz. So I'm gonna present 5 questions. So you may answer training or not training, yeah? So first questions. A staff member frequently skips steps in an SOP. When asked why, they say the workload is high and the SOP is too long and complex. So do you think it's training or not training? All right. Okay, so one of you said training, the other one said no. Actually, the answer is it's actually not training because it says it is due to high workload and the SOP is too long. So usually for this matter, you need to review the SOP and perhaps add up more manpower. All right. Next, patient experience long waiting time. Staff understand the process, but there are only 2 attending doctors and the system is low. So this is closer to Ministry of Health experience. We've been facing this throughout, I think, my working experience there. Okay. Are you okay? Not training. Correct. Correct. So more often customer service always triggering things in Ministry of Health, yeah. So, but there are more than just customer service skills that's important. Sometimes it's the infrastructures. In this case, it's the manpower and the systems as well. So training can be a complementary to it, but there is not just shouldn't be the main solution. Next, a senior officer knows how to complete the work, but they avoid the task or delay it because they don't feel like it or someone else can do it. This is training or not training? All right, so yep, it's not training. This is basically behavior or attitude. Okay. Staff repeatedly makes errors in monthly reports. When asked, they say, I don't know there was a new format and no one explains it. So what do you think? Is this training or not training? Correct. Yep, this is definitely training, especially for, for the newcomers. think this is the last quiz. A staff member gives unfriendly responses to customer. They have attended customer service training before. What do you think? Is this training or not training? So it's not training, yeah? So congratulations to Hafiza, you got it right. I think this perhaps Nina got some difficulties. All right, so moving on to TNA as we only have a few minutes left. So what is TNA? TNA is about determining whether or not a process issue, a performance issue is truly caused by lack of capability. So it compares what is the required capability against the current staff capabilities. Okay. So TNA isn't a paperwork. It's actually a thinking or reflection tools. When we do training need analysis properly, we avoid jumping into conclusion that training is the issue. Instead, we match the intervention to the root cause. So at the beginning of the cycles, you understand that TNA is all about analyzing the root cause. Yeah. All right. What is the benefit of TNA? So as you can see, there are four core benefits of TNA. One is to ensure that training is targeted. And I think for now you are aware that we would like to avoid waste and to ensure that there's a better outcome, the results that we wanted. We wanted to make sure that it supports performance by analyzing root cause and to be strategic to it. So we wanted to ensure that TNA supports organizational priorities to ensure that capabilities built are actually aligned to what the organization's needs. So in justifying your training, you need to ask these four questions to determine the right intervention. Yeah. So what capability is required for the job? What capability does the staff currently have? So you compare, and then after that, you will be able to see what is the gap between the required and the actual capabilities. Last but not least, the fourth questions, the main questions. Can the training close this gap? So this is very crucial because it protects our decisions. If training is not justified, it will not become meaningful. It will be, how would I say, we would like to avoid misallocating resources and putting unnecessary expectation on staff as well. Understanding that you learn previously when you know how to differentiate between performance and capability issues, you will be able to understand that whether or not the training is the right intervention for the issues. So the last questions, can the training close the gap? A simple analogy to that is perhaps if a patient comes with a fractured bones, perhaps, yeah, you simply give them painkiller. It definitely may reduce the pain, but the real problem will still be there. When TNA become a shared conversation, then training become purposeful, impactful, and most importantly, aligned with the organization goals. So with that, that is my last slide. So before we wrap up, I think if everybody have any questions, you may unmute your mic. I'll give you a few seconds. No questions, I suppose. So if so, we have come to the end of our sessions. I sincerely appreciate your participations, your reflection, your willingness to engage into these sessions. Thank you for your time and commitment to strengthen the capability of our organizations. But if you have any questions and you would like some clarification, feel free to reach out. And with that, I hope everybody will have a meaningful and productive day ahead. So thank you everybody and Assalamualaikum.